So President Obama is heading to Hollywood to fundraise for Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill. Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg will be there, too. McCaskill is in the fight of her life, her political life in her state. President Trump won the state of Missouri in 2016 by 19 points in that election. McCaskill is a longtime Hillary Clinton supporter and now is attempting to distance herself from Clinton to appeal to those more moderate voters in her home state. Watch this evolution.
We're going to call Hillary Clinton in January of 2016. 1, 2, 3. Madam President! All right.
She is going to be who she is, which is one-on-one, warm, engaging, and as relatable as you could possibly imagine. For those of us that are in states that Trump won, we would really appreciate if she would be more careful and show respect to every American voter and not just the ones who voted for her.
A big switcheroo this week on her part. Here now, a candidate who's running against her, Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley. Good to see you, sir. Thank you very much for being here tonight. So you've seen how she is defining herself at this point. She is also trying to define you as someone who is out of touch, someone who has spent more time on the coasts than you have in Missouri. That you graduated from Stanford and Yale. She says you're Mitch McConnell's guy and that you're just not a hometown Missouri guy. What do you say to that?
I'd say that that's a lot of hot air coming from somebody who's about to fly right over the state of Missouri in her private plane to do a Beverly Hills fundraiser with Barack Obama. You know, I'm proud of the fact, whatever Hillary and Senator McCaskill say about the middle part of this country, I'm proud to be from Missouri. I'm proud to be from a small town in Missouri. I'm proud to stand up for the middle class in our state and to speak for those who are suffering. I mean, the truth is we have a crisis, Martha, of the middle class in our country. We've got a crisis in the state of Missouri. Claire McCaskill has done nothing to help the workers in my state, to help families in my state. She has been with the elite in D.C. and Hollywood and Wall Street, and her actions show it.
What do you think she's most vulnerable on in terms of policy? The vote on tax reform, you know, all of these areas. She wants to know where you stand on DACA. I mean, these are the issues that it's going to come down to if indeed you win your primary.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, the tax relief bill is a great example. I mean, Senator McCaskill has voted to raise taxes on working Missourians over 200 times, yet she couldn't find it to vote one time for tax relief for working families. She's voted to sack the courts with left-wing ideologues. She voted no on Justice Neil Gorsuch. She voted no on rolling back regulations that are choking our family farms and family businesses in Missouri, like the Waters of the United States rule. So here's the scorecard on Claire McCaskill. She is with the Democrats and the party line every time, Martha.
So, you know, just going through some of the Missouri papers and editorials, one of the biggest issues that is going to be perhaps tricky for you is your connection to Governor Greitens, who obviously has had a scandal that has been besieging him. He's going to go to trial in May for that scandal. As Attorney General, you investigated a couple of the elements of that, and you continue to investigate a couple more. What about the suggestion that you need to distance yourself more from him and that you may have soft-pedaled, as some say, the early part of that investigation?
Well, look, I've soft-pedaled nothing. I take my responsibilities as Missouri's chief law enforcement officer very seriously. We do have an active investigation underway, as you allude to. This is bad for the state, Martha. There's no way around it. But look, Claire McCaskill is going to have no success in changing the subject to anything other than her atrocious record, which has abandoned the people of Missouri and the workers of Missouri.
Well, let me just ask you a quick question because I'm almost out of time. But have you subpoenaed the governor? I know you put out 15 subpoenas. Is he individually subpoenaed in that?
Well, I better not say, Martha, exactly who we have subpoenaed, other than to say this, that we will subpoena anyone and everyone who is relevant to this investigation, and we will not stop until we get all of the facts, and we will not be put off by any invocation of executive privilege or anything else. We will get the facts.
Do you think he should step down?
Well, you know, look, I mean, I think this is a tough situation for the state. I think the gravity of this is very, very plain. I don't want to say anything that would compromise in any way my investigation, which is ongoing, or the other law enforcement activities. But the situation is very grave. All
right. Very nice to talk with you, Attorney General Hawley from Missouri. It's going to be a very interesting race to watch. Thank you, sir. Thanks for making time for the story tonight.
Thank you.
Also should mention that Senator McCaskill has an open invitation to come on and talk about her side of this campaign, and we hope that she'll join us here to do just that. But we did also invite Chris Stirewalt, and he did show up. Fox News politics editor.
I am not running. You will not lasso me into this.
Chris, good to see you tonight. Your
you.
thoughts on what we just laid out here, and this is a race that everybody is going to be watching in this country.
It would be tough to say today whether Senator Joe Donnelly in Indiana or Claire McCaskill were the most vulnerable in the Democrats in the United States Senate. But boy, she is sure in the running. It is a very tough position she finds herself in. This is a state that has only gotten more Republican since she has been in office. She caught an enormously lucky break the last time with a garbage candidate that the Republicans put up against her the last go around. Woof, woof, double woof. So she caught this huge break last time. Hawley is not, he is learning as he goes to a certain degree. You can see that he is trying to figure out how to be, he is a very conservative Republican, and he's trying to figure out how to be more populist Republican in the Trump era. But maybe the best thing he has going for him is that he has a united party behind him, that the president is behind him. Right. He does not have the problem that other Republican frontrunners in other states have, where he's facing some sort of a savage primary. He's got a clear shot at this. The Republicans are going to pour money in, and why not? If there's one race in the country that Republicans can look to as their hope for holding on to the Senate, if they can flip that one, they stand a much better chance of holding the Senate.
She's clearly vulnerable on tax reform. It's an idea that Democrats told Americans across the country was going to be horrible for them, and so far it hasn't turned out that way.
I would say this. Her greatest vulnerability, it's not a coincidence that Republicans are pushing so hard on her support for Hillary Clinton. Her greatest vulnerability, probably in that tax cut, it is probably the fact that she was a rah-rah, sis-boom-bah cheerleader for Hillary Clinton, not just in the last go-around, but in 2008. She is on tape, on the record, big, big, big.
Not anymore, though, Chris. You heard her. She wishes that Hillary would just be nicer to the Trump voters in her state. Good to see you. Pleasure as always. Thank you, Chris. Good to see you tonight.